spring of 2021, Los Angeles Deputy Mayor Brenda Shockley had a radical idea that Los Angeles could learn from experiences of truth commissions around the world in order to address our own city's smoldering history of racial injustice. Deputy Mayor Shockley turned to Occidental College's Young Initiative. We were charged with imagining how global models of truth and accountability could inform such a process in Los Angeles.
What we wanted to address with the city essentially is this divide that has been created between the constituents and the government, a divide that we see everywhere, but specifically in the city of LA. And so what we wanted to do was help initiate a truth-telling process to hopefully memorialize, to make reparations to these communities that have been harmed by the city in the past.
The Young Initiative Task Force conducted 6 months of intensive research on global best practices, along with interviews with practitioners in many cities across the United States who, similar to us here in Los Angeles, are attempting to use global truth-telling norms as a model for how they can better face their own racial histories in new and more radically constructive ways.
The need to address institutional and systemic racism in order to imagine a new Los Angeles, a more just Los Angeles. Our task force team developed a set of recommendations for the city of Los Angeles and a report on how to convene such a process, based on city-community partnerships for truth and accountability. Our recommendations stem out of our research on international case studies on transitional justice, interviews with academic experts, practitioners, and city officials, and conversations with local actors whose efforts have driven this project of reimagining a more just Los Angeles.
Well, it was a grateful experience to work alongside my peers, but also city officials who gave us feedback and gave us recommendations on how we should set our research, but also how we should give our final recommendations to the city and how they should plan the truth and accountability process here in Los Angeles.
It was really a great experience being able to work not only alongside my peers as a team, but also with the guidance from officials in the city who all provided super helpful guidance and just advice on how we should best structure not only our research, but also our final recommendations to the city.
The many specifics of our recommendations to the City of LA were based on one underlying lesson learned from global experiences with truth and accountability processes, that they must address intersecting elements of recognition, responsibility, and repair. First, recognition of past wrongs. Second, active responsibility taking to forthrightly address that past history. And third, repair, i.e., engaging in both symbolic and substantive reparative actions to heal past wrongs.
I would greatly recommend to other people here in Oxy to take part of this opportunity to be part of the task force. It's an amazing way to help the people in the city that we live in.
The result of the task force research was so much more than we could have ever imagined for this project. The task force gave us a solid recommendation to help guide the work that we will do going forward.
You've given us things to go back with so that if there hasn't been the opportunity for the level of reflection that the students show, the city will get the benefit.
They helped us to define really important terms such as recognition, responsibility, and repair, and suggested how they might be applied in a way that is inclusive to all peoples who are involved in this work. Most importantly, they recommended that all of the work be guided through a community partnership, which really requires a city-community engagement process that is intentional and honest and forthright. So ultimately, the result was fantastic. It was an amazing research and report that the students were able to provide us, and I personally hope that this is the beginning of an exciting process that is all-inclusive and begins to tell a new story for Los Angeles.
The Young Initiative's mandate is to envision alternatives to the status quo in the global political economy. Our work with the City of LA epitomizes that with on-the-ground action.